This morning, the latest on the deadly attack in New Orleans and how it's prompting security concerns across the nation.
Plus, an investigation into a Tesla Cybertruck explosion continues, but authorities say this incident could be. Thanks for joining us on News 3 Now this morning on a Thursday. I'm Kyrie Lee.
I'm Chris Stanford. Appreciate you tuning in. Temperatures are dropping. You can feel it out there.
Yes, and it's not anytime soon to put away those winter coats. So I think it might be time to put more layers on, actually.
There you go. Savannah Burrito's all bundled up out in the patio this morning.
She is.
How's it feeling out there?
Guys, it's not bad. It is a little bit cooler than what we had yesterday, but what's in the forecast tomorrow, it's definitely going to feel a lot cooler. When we don't have wind chills factored in, it's not that bad, but we do this morning, making it feel like most of us are down to the teens. We're about 5 to 10 degrees all across southern Wisconsin, cooler than this time yesterday, and that trend is going to continue at least for the next 2 days. So waking up Friday and Saturday morning going to be cool. We have low wind chills and some flurries. This has been the case the last several mornings, just with the cooler air plummeting in across our area, that being one of the reasons why. But our winds increase, and that'll drop our wind chills tonight into early Friday morning. We'll talk about exactly how low those go and where the next chance of precipitation will be in comparison to our area. That's all coming up ahead, guys.
All right, Savannah, thank you. This morning, at least 15 people are now confirmed dead and 39 injured after a man rammed a truck through a crowd of people celebrating New Year's in New Orleans.
The FBI has identified the attacker as 42-year-old Army veteran Shamsuddin Jabbar. He's a U.S. citizen who lived in Texas. Agents say after he rammed the crowd, the suspect exited a rented Ford truck and fired at police. The shootout left the suspect dead and 2 police officers injured. The FBI says they found an ISIS flag on the suspect's vehicle and possible improvised explosive devices there and in the city's French Quarter. They also recovered a handgun and an AR-style rifle. President Biden says the attacker was inspired by ISIS, pointing to a social media video posted by the man. The FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism. They do not believe he acted alone. And the security of future events in New Orleans are in question following yesterday's attacks. It comes just a month before the city is set to host the Super Bowl and then Mardi Gras in March. The Sugar Bowl is the more immediate concern as it's been rescheduled to this afternoon. City officials say barriers called bollards were removed from Bourbon Street before yesterday's attack because they were malfunctioning. Police say they were using patrol cars as blockades instead.
It was extremely frustrating for me to listen to when they said that we didn't anticipate that somebody who would be using a vehicle as a weapon against pedestrians would resort to driving on a sidewalk.
Officials say the suspect went around the vehicles and jumped the sidewalk.
In Washington, D.C., authorities are also on high alert. Streets around the Capitol and the White House are now protected with barriers, with officers watching around the clock. The district is preparing for 3 major events in the coming weeks. We have the Congressional certification of the president set for Monday, then the state funeral of former President Jimmy Carter, and finally the presidential inauguration. That's all within the next few weeks. In a recent testimony before a Senate committee, the U.S. Capitol Police Chief stressed that his force is better prepared to defend the Capitol than on January 6, 4 years ago. There are 360 additional officers, and all of them are equipped with riot gear.
Authorities in Las Vegas are investigating a Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel. It's now being investigated as a possible act of terror. Take a look at this video here. Investigators found gas canisters, camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars in the back of the vehicle. The truck had only been sitting outside the hotel for 15 seconds before it exploded. The person inside the truck is dead and has not been identified. 7 bystanders were injured, with 2 taken to the hospital and released. This is believed to be an isolated incident. The motive is still unknown, and police have noted similarities to the New Orleans incident, with both vehicles being rented from the site Turo.
At the nation's capital, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson met with President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago as he tries to shore up support to be reelected as Speaker when the new Congress convenes tomorrow. Trump has endorsed Johnson to retain the Speaker's gavel. Trump believes Johnson can win, but knows it's going to be a tough fight. Even with the backing of the president-elect, some GOP members expressed their disapproval of Johnson.
He doesn't have my vote.
I remain undecided, as do a number of my colleagues, because we saw so many of the failures last year that we are concerned about that might limit or inhibit our ability to advance the president's agenda.
Here's how tight things are. Just one vote against Johnson within his party skins his chances of being reelected. If the House isn't able to pick a speaker, it won't be called into session, and then the House can't do anything. That includes certifying Trump as president. That is set to happen on January 6th.
In his annual report, U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts is issuing a warning for 2025's political leaders. Roberts speaks against what he describes as dangerous talk from some officials about ignoring federal court rulings. He says these officials are across the political spectrum. Roberts wrote that every administration has suffered defeats in court, but he says in recent decades, both parties have respected decisions and avoided constitutional confrontations like those of the civil rights era when southern states refused to integrate. Roberts has repeatedly used his year-end report to promote an independent judiciary.
Funeral plans are being completed for the late President Jimmy Carter. He'll be honored with ceremonies spanning more than a week. Starting this weekend, people can pay respects at the Carter Presidential Center in Atlanta. Tuesday, his remains will be flown to Washington, where he'll lie in state at the Capitol Rotunda. His funeral is set for next Thursday. That is a week from today. It'll happen at the Washington National Cathedral. Preparations for the funeral started not long after he was sworn in as president in 1977.
State funeral is our way, our nation's way, of rendering its last honor to the commander-in-chief. And the military takes it very serious, of course, because it's a no-fail mission. Probably embodies maybe 600-700 people. So you're pulling that many people offline every 3 months in order to make sure that when the day comes, that we're ready for that.
President Biden has declared January 9th a national day of mourning. The nation's 39th president will eventually be laid to rest in his hometown of Plains, Georgia.
Time now 6:06. In state news this morning, a new year means new laws, so we'll tell you some of the ones that you need to know about. So first, one that will attempt to address our nation's healthcare shortage, and also a new charge for electric vehicle drivers. And finally, a change in the length of time state parks passes are valid for.
All right, so in an attempt to address the state's healthcare shortage, a new law will allow physicians who practiced or trained in another country to apply for a provisional license here in Wisconsin. This will create a pathway for international physicians to practice here without having to repeat residency requirements in the U.S.
Now to electric vehicles. People who own EVs will have to pay a little more in taxes. A new 3 cents per kilowatt tax will be applied to all public EV charging stations. That only applies to public stations, not one at someone's home.
Finally, a change to how long state park passes are valid for. So now when you buy an annual state park sticker, it's valid for the entire calendar year. So if you buy a pass in March of this year, it'll be good until the following March. Under the old rolled stickers, it would only last through the end of the year, regardless of when you bought it.
And if you're looking for a reason to visit the state parks this year, the Wisconsin State Park System is celebrating 125 years. Our Will Keneally reports.
Happy New Year here at Mirror Lake State Park. About 100 people joined a first day hike, joining people across the state in hiking the state parks on the new year. Now it's the new year, 2025. It's 125 years since the state park system first started.
And so in 1900, when the first state park was founded, it was the Interstate State Park. It was small acreage, but it was great opportunities to begin the idea of state parks.
From that first state park, Wisconsin now has 50 for residents to enjoy.
So they were probably more of just natural areas, but as the popularity grew and more people came to state parks, then they became more developed.
The legacy that Wisconsin State Parks has, 125 years of Wisconsin, just think about that.
Randall Paskey started out hosting campsites at Wyalusing State Park on the Mississippi River.
I got to know people that down at Point Lookout became engaged. Then they came back and get married. And we meet these people all the time, but always have a story.
He now leads the nonprofit group that helps support state parks, like helping them hire park naturalists.
Sometimes the trails have history. Sometimes a trail has been there for hundreds of years, used by pioneers, Native Americans, and that park naturalists tell that tale.
And that's part of what brought him out to the first day hike, to help encourage residents to get out and use the parks.
It's great because you get to meet people like you, Will, and over there, and people that come here the first day hike. and we get to talk smart and shake hands.
That's a legacy Steve Schmelzer with the DNR hopes will carry on into the next 125 years, allowing Wisconsinites of tomorrow to enjoy the scenery and wildlife we see today.
So as climate changes a little bit, we can to look towards those areas as kind of have a toehold into maintaining them, and also bringing some of those species along too.
Reporting from Mirror Lake State Park, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, lots of great state parks to explore here.
Oh, we got some of the best, and so many little hidden gems scattered all across the state. And then some of the ones that everybody knows about, like Devils Lake State Park, which are just so gorgeous, popular for a reason. Yeah. You still need to get there.
Yes, I would say yes.
On your list.
That is on my list. Like when I came here, I have a list that I have, and you guys keep giving me great recommendations. I'm going to get there. But maybe not right now because it's a little cold out there. Savannah, what's coming up?
State parks tomorrow morning especially. We'll talk about exactly how low wind chills are going to go Friday morning coming up.
And we're looking ahead to the first weekend in the 608 of 2025. What's happening right away in the new year?
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In the 608 today, we are looking ahead to the first weekend of 2025.
Our Josh Prider is here in studio with his 3 things to do. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy New Year. It is the first weekend of the 608 of the new year. We made it past the holidays, so events are changing a bit heading into 2025. But if you're still in the Christmas spirit, this weekend is your last chance to check out the holiday light show at Rotary Botanical Gardens in Janesville. Gates are open through Saturday the 4th. So just a few more days left from 4:30 to 8:30 in the evening. More than 1.6 million lights are lighting up the garden. Tickets are for adults, $15, $5 for children, and free for those under 2. Reminder, those proceeds support the garden year-round. Well, you may be trying to eat a little healthier or fresher in the new year, so here's your opportunity to join your favorite farmers at the late winter Dane County Farmers Market. This is at Garver Feed Mill. Happens Saturday mornings. You can support 50 local farmers, cheesemakers, and bakers and do your weekly grocery shopping. The market runs from 8 to noon each Saturday from January 4th through April 5th. Well, if getting outside or moving more in the new year is one of your resolutions, how about a nature hike at the UW-Madison Arboretum? This is happening Sunday afternoon and a chance for you to learn about the land, plants, and animals. It is free and no registration is required. You're just asked to meet at the Visitor Center at 1 in the afternoon. You can always find more happenings in the 608 by going to channel3000.com. Still doesn't feel that we're in the new year, right? It's just, I'm like thinking, I'm looking at the calendar and it's like 2025. It just doesn't feel like it can be true.
It didn't even seem real just a few years ago. So.
Snuck up on us.
It has. It really has.
Snuck up on us. Hey, if you're going to the Arboretum, it's going to be pretty darn cold.
Dress warm.
Out there, yeah. Nice and bundled up. Garver Feed Mill Farmers Market. Hard to believe that that's back in session. That's a fun one to check out.
And it's something indoors too. You know, it's that time of the year where people don't really want to go outside. I mean, we're pretty tough around here. Like that's why, I know there's going to be people doing that hike at the Arboretum. Just we're Wisconsinites.
More power to them.
But we got a little bit of everything.
You're not going to line up for the hike at the Arboretum on Sunday?
You see, no registration needed because I'm not showing up. But for those who are interested, we definitely want you to get out there because there's lots to do around here.
There is lots to do.
I mean, it doesn't matter what the time of the year is. So.
Well, and I think it's hard too, it's that time of the year, we got through the holidays, and I think a lot of the local farmers, businesses, now they really need our support because everyone kind of disappears for the next couple of months, but you got to get out and support local too.
Yes.
There you go. Thanks for showing us.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, Josh. Well, we're going to go on to some important consumer recalls now. Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 diesel-powered F-Series trucks. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the vehicle's fuel pump may fail and cause a loss of power, increasing the risk of a crash. Ford officials say so far it is unaware of any accidents or injuries caused by the issue. Owners of the recalled vehicles can get a free repair at Ford dealerships.
And Braga Fresh issuing a voluntary recall for 12-ounce bags of its Marketplace ready-to-eat broccoli florets because of a possible listeria contamination. These are sold at Walmart. They have a Best By date of December 10th, so I don't know, maybe you still got these in your freezer or something. The FDA says all the affected items are way past their expiration date and are no longer on store shelves. You don't have to worry about that anymore, but anyone who still has the recalled broccoli should toss it.
In other national news, the Food and Drug Administration is now testing cheese made from raw cow's milk for potential bird flu contamination. At least 300 samples will be collected nationwide over the next 3 months. The search for the H5N1 virus is expanding after an outbreak in multiple states linked to raw milk and dairies. The National Institutes of Health says bird flu remains a low risk to the general public.
All right, 6:17. Let's check in with Savannah Brito on your first warn forecast. Hey there.
Hey, good morning. Temperature is definitely cooler than yesterday by about 5 to 10 degrees, but not as cool as what's in the forecast going forward. Sub-zero wind chills are in the forecast. That will be Friday and Saturday morning. So waking up those mornings, it's going to be very cold outside. And snow chances both today and the system over the weekend both look to stay south of here. So if you don't want snow or the winter precipitation, you have that to look forward to. These are where our current wind chills sit. So we don't have one in Madison. Our air temperature and wind chill, same 20 degrees. Monroe has one factored in there. 11 degrees is what it feels like outside. 15 in Janesville, 17 in the Dells, 10 degrees. That's the current wind chill in Lone Rock. Like I mentioned, though, we're sitting currently at 20. Our winds are calm here. That's why we don't have a wind chill factored in. But as winds increase by late morning, early afternoon, and temperatures continue to fall over the next hour, I do think we'll make it down to the teens for our low. That's the forecast in Madison, but we'll warm back up to a high of 26. Our winds are going to increase up to about 15 to 20 miles per hour, at least for gusts. That's why we'll see wind chills factored in all day. Those will be down to the single digits later this evening and then sub-zero overnight. This is the first system the National Weather Service did issue, at least well south of here across northern Illinois, portions of Iowa, a winter weather advisory, basically for those areas where that snow is expected to track. Well south of here, our clouds have already increased as a result of that system here locally across southern Wisconsin, but they decreased briefly. That'll be ahead of the next system that is still expected to also stay south of here. So the low, there's not really a change in that track from what we said yesterday. Severe weather will be ahead of that cold front. That expected in the deep south. Freezing rain and snow close to our area, but still the best chance of that across southern Illinois, and then areas that will see the heaviest snowfall from this across maybe northern Illinois and then central Illinois into Indiana and eastward. So that's still expecting to stay south of here. I think we could see maybe a few flurries from that as the low moves overhead and out of here, but that's really the only chance of precipitation here going forward, and that's slim at best. What's also definitely the case, the cool down after that, we're only going to be in the teens Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday heading into next weekend. So if you're picking a weekend to get outside, both are going to be about the same, lower precipitation chances, but definitely cold.
All right, here we go. Thanks, Savannah.
You're welcome.
Still ahead, the best of the best nature photos of the year. And which one took home the top prize?
We're back right after this. 6:23. This picture is from Gwen. She says another beauty in Crawford County with a slight sun pillar. So there you have it. Looks like some cotton candy clouds up there.
Yeah, there's about every color in the rainbow there. I love that.
We're getting into those picture window type forecasts where you want to look from the inside and not go outside.
Just capture it through the glass.
Yes, but why is it getting colder? At least, soon it'll start being lighter, longer again.
There you go.
I've
already noticed a little bit, like in the evening, that it's getting a little bit later for that sunset.
Yes.
So it's those little things.
Note there.
Yes, I look forward to that.
A great picture, Gwen. Thanks for sharing. I want to show you the Nature Photographer of the Year competition finalists here. Some wonderful shots of some wildlife. The overall prize, we're going to show you here in a minute, but take in some of these pictures. A lot of people, getting outdoors and being patient and just snapping some incredible photos here. Of all these, there's one that was chosen to be the best of the best, and that was a snowy scene in India. You're going to see a pair of playful snow leopards here in a moment. The photographer really was patient with this one, waiting 6 hours in some sub-zero temperatures to snap the perfect shot. Look at that one there with all the color.
Oh. Beautiful.
I know it takes a little while for the snow leopard shot to come, and there it is.
There it is.
That drum roll.
I know.
The winner.
Do I stall well enough to get
cool
there?
shot.
All right. A gorgeous shot there. All right, moving on here. The cold weather means it's polar plunge season now. Take a look at this in Pittsburgh, PA. It's a tradition there on New Year's Day for them to jump in the river. for a good cause. They do this to raise funds to help people out with warm clothing who are low-income folk. So I just don't think polar plunges, it doesn't have the same effect when there's not like snow and ice out there and you got to like saw a big hole out in the middle of the lake to jump in. But kudos to these people doing something for a good cause. By the way, Madison's Polar Plunge is coming up on February 15th this year.
That'll be here around the corner.
I know.
Yes, I heard you were diving in.
What? Have you guys ever done a polar plunge?
No.
I confess
I support the cause, though. Yes.
Yeah, always for a good cause. You can find us maybe in some.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
You want?
I do.
I'm sure we can talk to the proper people. I can look into that for you.
It's going to get very cold outside, guys. We're looking at sub-zero chills, waking up tomorrow and Saturday morning.
All right. Keep it here. More News 3 Now this morning right after this. This morning, continuing coverage of the terror in New Orleans. The number of casualties increases as the FBI pieces together a motive.
Plus, we'll hear from a Wisconsin family in New Orleans at the time of the attack and what a former Homeland Security official says about these kinds of incidents.
Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday morning, folks. A busy Thursday. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Unley. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. If you're headed out the door, just make sure you have those extra layers because you're going to need them.
I feel like Savannah's been tracking these falling temperatures for a while now, warning us that this really cold air is on the way, and it feels like we're starting to plunge in that direction, Savannah.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case by already this morning with colder temperatures and wind chills factored in. We didn't necessarily see this across most of the area yesterday. Although we don't have a wind chill right now in Madison because winds are calm, most of the rest of us across southern Wisconsin are waking up to wind chills that are down to the teens, even lower teens. And check out La Crosse, what feels like only 7 this morning. Later this evening, most of us are going to see what's factored into La Crosse, and then by tomorrow morning, we will unfortunately be talking about sub-zero wind chills all across the area, and into Saturday morning, the cool down expected to last for quite some time too. I think even through the middle of the month, we are expecting below average temperatures, give or take a day or two that could be on the milder side of things. But also we'll talk about the next precipitation chance. I'll have that coming up, guys.
All right, Savannah, talk to you then. To our top stories this morning, the number of people killed in the New Year's terror attack in New Orleans is now up to 15.
This all unfolded in the early hours of New Year's Day on Bourbon Street. The suspect is dead after a shootout with police after the car attack. The FBI says they found an ISIS flag on the vehicle's trailer hitch and possible improvised explosive devices there and in the city's French Quarter. They're now attempting to determine if the suspect belongs to ISIS or any terrorist organization. President Joe Biden says the attacker had posted videos to social media expressing a desire to kill. The Bureau does not believe the suspect acted alone.
Meanwhile, college football Sugar Bowl that was supposed to happen last night is scheduled for this afternoon. City officials say they're working to make sure the environment is safe, efficient, and fun. Louisiana's governor also trying to reassure football fans that the game will be safe to attend. The stadium is about a mile away from the scene of the attack. The game will kick off at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Georgia takes on Notre Dame in what serves as the quarterfinals in college football. The winner will face Penn State in the Orange Bowl.
One of Notre Dame's players is from Wisconsin. His family is in New Orleans right now to watch their son play in the Sugar Bowl. The family had been in the French Quarter just hours before the attack. The parents spoke to Adam Reif from our CBS affiliate in Milwaukee.
We woke up to text messages this morning from friends and stuff. Are we okay and this and that?
The Shroud family's New Year's Eve trip to New Orleans was supposed to be a celebration, but now
the authorities have asked that we stay in our hotels today as much as possible.
Campbellsport native Billy Shroud has been a key cog in leading Notre Dame this season. His parents Jenna and Tim spent part of Tuesday afternoon in the French Quarter before heading back to their hotel.
And it was just a ton of people. But we were not down there last evening.
It feels familiar to many in southeastern Wisconsin. The similarities to the 2021 Waukesha Christmas parade attack are undeniable.
Suspect goes around a police barricade. Law enforcement is present and still has managed to get on the parade route.
Former Homeland Security Assistant Secretary Brian Doro said the motives behind the two may be different, but trying to prevent them is the same.
But you're going to see changes in the way we do business and perhaps even industry standards for what is needed.
Doro said physical barriers and a law enforcement presence can only do so much to prevent an attack, especially if the attacker has little regard for their own life. The Dancing Grannies posted about the New Orleans attack, writing, "It's a long, hard road. While you will never be the same, healing is possible." The Sugar Bowl game was postponed and rescheduled for Thursday at 3 p.m. local time. There is still uncertainty and concern on the streets of New Orleans, but the Shrouths will be in the stands cheering on Billy while also being cognizant of their surroundings.
Hopefully they're hollow threats, but I mean, obviously there's concern for everybody's safety.
Adam Rice reporting. The family says they were able to push their flight back a day and keep their hotel another night. They say they were finally able to leave their hotel last night for a short period of time and spent that time visiting with their son Billy. Billy is likely to feature in the Sugar Bowl. He has 9 starts with the Irish this season.
Police in Beloit are investigating a shooting. It happened just over an hour before the turn of the year. Officers responded to a call from Jackson Street. There they found a man injured in the shooting. Officers were able to save the man's life, and then first responders rushed him to the hospital. Now, Beloit police have not said if anyone is in custody in connection to this incident. They are asking anyone with information to contact Greater Beloit Area Crime Stoppers at 608-362-7463.
We're one day away from the start of the next legislative session in Washington, and now some House Republicans are looking for some more stability in their side of the aisle. A new rules package they released raises the threshold for removing the House Speaker. Now, at least 9 members would need to call for a no confidence vote for it to proceed. House Republicans reduced that threshold to 1 at the beginning of the current Congress. This came as part of negotiations during the race for House Speaker, which took 15 ballots. As for the incoming Congress, Speaker Mike Johnson is facing some opposition from his party in his efforts to keep the gavel, but no other serious challenger has emerged.
President-elect Donald Trump will hold a rally the day before his inauguration. It's set to happen at the Capital One Arena, which is where several sports teams in the nation's capital play. The inaugural committee is calling this the Make America Great Again Victory Rally. Trump held several victory rallies after his first presidential win. This upcoming rally is the only one scheduled. Nearly everyone in Puerto Rico now has their power back on. The company that oversees electricity on the island says the utility is restored for 98% of affected customers. They warn, though, there could still be more outages. The president of the energy provider says they may need to temporarily cut power to rotating parts of the island because of the fragile nature of the grid. Most people in Puerto Rico lost power early Tuesday morning. It hampered New Year's Eve celebrations on the island, which is 1 hour ahead of Eastern Standard Time.
The new year is seeing a surge in several illnesses. It comes after a relatively slow start to respiratory virus season. CDC surveillance of wastewater shows COVID-19 levels are high. The agency says cases of norovirus, often called the stomach flu or stomach bug, are also surging. Influenza and RSV levels are both moderate. One expert in infectious diseases says many events right before the turn of the year are a perfect recipe for transmission.
You put together a holiday party that's crowded and people talking loudly at one another with not much ventilation, and that's the ideal setting for spreading the respiratory viruses.
The CDC projected that this respiratory virus season would have a similar or lower number of peak hospitalizations. This prediction relates to the flu, COVID-19, and RSV.
It is going around.
It most definitely is. I think we've all got a little bit of it.
All right, 6:37. Coming up after the break, we're going to take a look back at some of last year's highlights from News 3 Now this morning.
And we do have wind chills factored in already this morning. We'll talk where is going to be the lowest and what day that will be in the forecast.
Plus, we're looking ahead to the first weekend in the 608 of 2025. What's happening right away in the new year?
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
In the 608 this morning, we are looking ahead to the first weekend of 2025.
Our Josh Prider is here in studio now with his 3 things to do for the new year. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy New Year. It is the first weekend in the 608 of the new year. We made it past the holidays, so events are changing a little bit as we head into 2025. But if you're still in that Christmas spirit, I know some of you are still out there. This weekend is your last chance to check out the holiday light show at the Rotary Botanical Gardens in Janesville. Gates are open through Saturday the 4th from 4:30 to 8:30 in the evening. More than 1.6 million lights illuminate that garden. Tickets for adults are $15. It's $5 for children, and those free and it's free for those 2 and under. Remember, those proceeds support the garden year-round. Well, you may be trying to eat a little healthier or fresher in the new year, so here's your opportunity to join your favorite farmers at the late winter Dane County Farmers Market. This is at Garver Feed Mill. On Saturday mornings, you can support 50 local farmers, cheesemakers, and bakers, or do your weekly grocery shopping. The market runs from 8 to noon each Saturday from January 4th through April 5th. Well, if getting outside or moving more in the new year is one of your resolutions, how about a nature hike at the UW-Madison Arboretum? This is happening Sunday afternoon and is a chance for you to learn about the land, plants, and animals. It is free and no registration is required. You're asked to meet at the Visitor Center at 1 o'clock. Remember, you can always find more happenings in the 608 by going to channel3000.com. So we made it through the holidays. You guys have any plans for this first weekend of 2025?
Lose about 15 pounds.
Oh my gosh. New year, new me, right?
Yeah. Boy, I just indulged a lot.
Oh man.
There's just so much good stuff around. It's hard to avoid it.
It's okay. You gotta eat good. No, I think we're just gonna lay low. We've had a little toughness with the sickness in our household.
I know.
So.
That's what we've all families and everything. Yes. I've had the crud. I think it's kind of one of those weekends just to reset and rejuvenate a little bit. Yes.
Yes. Before 4K starts back up on Monday.
I know things are starting to ramp back up again here.
No breaks. So. Well, there was a break.
Yeah.
You go right back
yeah. I don't know about any other parents out there, but I feel like this holiday break has lasted like a month. The kids have been off school for like a week and a half. It feels like they've been home just for so long.
I'm sure it gets a little crazy for you.
And the midweek is just throwing everyone off in general too. It feels like it's Monday, but it's Thursday, and I don't know.
It's just a bunch. Maybe I'll feel better on Monday to reset the week. So there we go.
There you go.
Knock on some wood.
Yes. Oh yeah. You're right.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
You bet.
All right. How about you, Savannah? What do you got going on?
I got nothing. I'm just going to relax at home as well. I don't think any of us are doing literally anything. I'm going to get some rest, even though I was off for half of last week, didn't get a lot of sleep. So maybe that this weekend. Mostly cloudy, definitely staying indoors this weekend because of how cold it's going to be as well. 26 today, it's at least seasonable. But what's to come after that, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the next 3 days and beyond it, especially mid to late week next week, that's when we're forecasting even chillier weather. So we are down to the teens based on what it feels like outside, not in Madison, but everyone else with wind chills this morning. They're really going to dip though. So yes, we're forecasting the mid-20s today, but with the wind chill factored in, it'll make it feel like we're about 10 or so degrees cooler than that. Be sure to bundle up heading into tomorrow morning because these dip down. We're looking at sub-zero all across southern Wisconsin. This is the forecast about 8:30 in the morning Friday, so tomorrow. But then watch what it does. We struggle to even get some positive wind chills out there. Might make it to 0 in Madison. I think it's more likely areas south and east of Madison hit maybe what feels like 5 degrees, but areas northwest and north of Madison could remain sub-zero for wind chills all day long. And then into Saturday morning, these drop even more where we're looking at those double digits, sub-zero, maybe as low as about -15. Definitely going to feel really, really cool outside. This is the winter weather alerts that we have across the region, areas across central Iowa and northern Illinois, a winter weather advisory. That's today, in effect today, for the snow that's affecting those areas, or at least will be. This blue color, that's a winter storm watch for areas just to our southwest. That's probably going to expand that one over the weekend. So there's a little bit of difference between those two alerts. Let's talk about that first one that's going to affect areas south of here. I don't think we're going to see even really any flurries as far north here as southern Wisconsin. Our clouds are already on the increase because of this system. But that heavier, better chance of snow to our south. The next system, though, that I was talking about that's prompting that winter storm warning to our southwest, that's going to originate and then move in close to here. In the deep south, there is severe weather that's expected. But even the freezing rain and snow, I think the best track even south of the Chicagoland area. So I don't think there's a good chance that we see any precipitation from this system as far north as southern Wisconsin. Over the weekend, maybe a couple flurries. That's what it's looking like right now at best. And then there's that cool down on the 10-day, that end the last couple of days looking really cold.
All right, sure is. Boy, those lows next week.
Yeah, single digits.
Oh, yeah. Refreshing.
Yes,
I guess.
Yeah,
just wakes you up in the morning.
All right. Well, hey, this morning we are taking some time to look back at some of the memorable moments of News 3 Now this morning in 2024.
While names and faces have come and gone, we still have plenty of memories to highlight. Take a look.
It's been really a joy and a privilege, and thank you for trusting me to be on TV and bring you guys the news every morning. It's been such a privilege.
So I can't thank you enough for, sharing these moments with me, always supporting me on no matter what shift I was on. You guys have been there with me. You guys at home and you guys here.
Well, I am from the Chicago suburbs, and I'm really looking forward to going to the farmer's market. I've heard great things, especially about this specific cheese stuffed bread. We can go together.
Okay, let's do it.
But what was it that led to your decision to choose Madison and News 3 Now?
Well, one, this team is amazing. You all made me feel so welcome. So I was like, yes, this seems like a great team to be on, to transition to. And then the city itself is just beautiful.
This is Kelly's last day on News 3 Now this morning. Over the last 16 months, he's stepped up and filled in, done such a wonderful job.
A pro's pro.
And starting tomorrow, Savannah Brito.
I like the woohoo.
Thank you.
We're going to pass the weather clicker.
Yeah.
In a ceremonial gesture here.
Thank you.
To welcome,
I should say big shoes to fill, but big slides to fill.
Leah and Zach would like to introduce you to Elijah Levi Genthi. Of course, middle name after his late uncle. Look at that precious little guy.
So we got married in Tulum, Mexico, just south of Cancun.
Wow.
There's my family. We had a limo from the airport out of the way to the hotel. There's my sister, brother-in-law, and parents. There's Leah, who officiated me.
And check out what we saw.
No way! What was Ben thinking right there? Oh, stop it.
Taking a look at some of our back-to-school pictures from when we were kiddos. Josh Ryder. Look at little Joshy there. Michelle Renee.
Brought the umbrella.
Look
It was
at
sunny,
you all.
but we knew we
Very
weren't doing
weather
weather.
lady of
Josh Ryder and Savannah Brito and Kelly Slifka are all standing by with our team coverage this morning.
There's a lot of trees down, not only in the streets, but also lots along the roadways.
The Wisconsin River right beside me, and you can see the canopies and the tarps over these boats ripped up from that strong wind.
We had wind gusts reported at Dane County Regional Airport up to 62 miles per hour.
Welcome to News 3 Now, this morning's live coverage from the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. I'm Kyrian Lee.
It's the big day here in Chicago. Good morning from the Chicago Riverwalk.
We have team coverage this morning. Our Michelle Renee Quinn is live at the Dane County Municipal Building with last-minute reminders. But first, we start with Josh Ryder, who's live at the City County Building in Madison.
We're going to be out here all morning, keeping you guys up to date with what you need to know.
Can tailgate on a Friday morning.
Why not? Why not?
And we are live from Bratfest this morning. I'm grilling them up.
Chris and I are judging the chilies of the ladies of News 3 Now this morning.
Dig in. All right, we're going to start with chili number one. I like that one. It tastes a lot better than it looked. I'll give you that.
I would agree.
Before we get back to fall-like temperatures, and I think Michelle Renee Quinn.
Savannah, we gotta go.
We're going.
Okay.
Oh, goodness. What a way to start the morning, guys.
Team dressing up here. All right, let's go down the line. What are you dressed as? Josh, we'll start with you.
Oh my God, it's so scary.
We're going to have a gift wrapping competition.
I got this, guys. No interference. No interference.
Done. That taste. Okay,
I'm done.
So Renee's done.
Yeah. Okay,
that's not too bad.
Not bad, but the corners could be crisper.
I can't hear anything.
So
I'm guessing Michelle Renee won.
Boy, what a year, huh?
Yes, and it went by all too quickly.
Only half a year here for you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, my 6 months. I was just talking about that. My 6 months is coming up in just a few days. Wow. And I'm like, how?
Time flies.
It really does.
It's a wild weather year as well. That February tornado was this year. That seems like forever ago.
Remember, I was standing in front of a snowbank.
Yeah, it was wild.
Crazy.
Made some history there. But what a memorable year. Just so many things. It'd be incredible if 2025 topped the level of just significant events that happened here in our viewing area in 2024.
Right, but it's been a pleasure just to be on this team, and I'm excited to see what we can do.
We've had a lot of change this year, but I'm really happy where we are right now.
Yes.
This was a great way to end the year and a great way to start the year. So happy New Year, guys.
There's the 2025.
Yeah, let's do this. Well, coming up in the morning sprint, we'll tell you about a vehicle recall.
We're back with the morning sprint right after this. 6:54, time for the morning sprint.
The death toll after a car ramming attack in New Orleans is now up to 15. This all unfolded in the early hours of New Year's Day on Bourbon Street. The suspect is now dead after a shootout with police after the car attack. The FBI is leading the investigation into this incident, and they're calling it an act of terrorism. The Bureau does not believe the suspect acted alone.
Authorities in Las Vegas, meantime, are investigating a Tesla Cybertruck explosion. It happened outside the Trump International Hotel. Early yesterday morning, investigators found gas canisters, camp fuel canisters, and large firework mortars in the back of the vehicle. The person inside the truck is dead and has not yet been identified.
Police in Beloit are investigating a shooting that left a man hospitalized. It happened on Jackson Street on New Year's Eve. Officers were able to save the victim's life before other first responders took him to the hospital. Beloit police have not said if anyone is in custody. They're asking anyone with information to contact Greater Beloit Area Crime Stoppers.
Donald Trump will hold a rally the day before his inauguration. It's set to happen at the Capital One Arena. The inaugural committee is calling it the Make America Great Again Victory Rally. It's his first since winning the 2024 election.
Ford is recalling nearly 300,000 diesel-powered F-Series trucks. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says the vehicle's fuel pump may fail. This could cause a loss of power, increasing the risk of a crash. Ford officials say so far it is unaware of any accidents or injuries caused by the issue. Owners of the recalled vehicles can get a free repair at Ford dealerships.
Well, at least we'll still be near normal this afternoon with temperatures forecast up to 26. Very similar day compared to yesterday, but then the big cool down, teens only Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And going forward, will even be a little bit cooler mid to late week next week where we have teens in the forecast. Single digit overnight lows. I count there's 6 of those on the 10-day forecast, sub-zero chills. So it'll feel like January, I guess. Below average though, so it's here.
It's here, and I was hoping it wouldn't
today.
be. Yeah.
Enjoy the 26 today.
Yes, I definitely will. Savannah, thank you.
All right, we're back in 30 minutes with the news and weather update.